Trapped Games, Mega Man 5, Game Boy. Originally released in 1994 for the Game Boy, it was also available on the 3DS eShop when that was still open. But sadly, with the closure of that eShop, there is no official way to play this version of Mega Man 5. But calling this a version of Mega Man 5 is not entirely accurate, as this is not a port or remake of Mega Man 5 for the NES. Unlike the other 4 Mega Man titles for the Game Boy, this is a wholly original game, not having bosses recycled from the NES incarnations of Mega Man. Instead, it has all new robot masters to serve as bosses, and they come from space this time. To go along with the space theme, each of the new bosses is named after one of the planets in our solar system. Not only that, but because they're from space, Mega Man's standard Mega Buster is completely useless against them. Instead, Mega Man is going to have to take down these bosses by fisting them into submission. Because when you charge up the Mega Buster this time, instead of firing a big shot, your fist launches off your hand to hit them. Because apparently, these robots are immune to energy weapons, but the power of a fist hitting them is just too much for them to handle. So in this game, he's not really Mega Man. He's in fact...
Call him Fister Roboto.
But it doesn't just fist!
But once you fire your fist, you do have to wait for it to return before you can charge up another shot for another, fisting. And this can take a little time to actually get used to. Although despite all the grandiose notions of robots coming from space, it does turn out in the end that Dr. Wily was behind this whole series of events, which I'm sure when that was revealed came as a surprise to no one back in 1994. This game did try a few new things with the Mega Man formula. For example, they added a robot cat that attacks things like a buzzsaw. Its name is Tango, and I found it to be completely useless. You could also collect P-chips to exchange for items from Dr. Light. This was the second game in the Mega Man franchise to ever have this kind of thing, the first being Mega Man 4 on the Game Boy. And from Dr. Light, you can buy energy tanks, 1-ups, and more importantly, upgrades for your fist, including an item that allows your fist to grab items on its way back to you, which might be the most useful upgrade ever in a Mega Man game. This was also the last Mega Man game released for the Game Boy. While this was released before the Game Boy Color, it wasn't entirely without color. It was a game that was enhanced when played on the Super Game Boy, a cartridge that allowed you to play Game Boy games on a TV through your Super Nintendo. Those features have, of course, been on display during this video. The nice-looking border around the gameplay, and the color palette that shifts depending on where you're at in the game. Sadly, these features were unavailable on the 3DS eShop version of the game. While this game may be trapped at the moment, there is some hope, as after all, Game Boy games have been added to the Switch Online service. And Capcom has been making quite a few Mega Man Legacy collections as of late. And a Legacy collection featuring the 5 Game Boy titles is certainly not outside the realm of possibility. But for now, Mega Man 5 on the Game Boy is sadly a trapped game. Please do subscribe, comment, like, and tell your friends.